It's dope, man. It's been dope. It's been dope. If I could just leave with one more thing, bro.
Mm-hmm.
One more. I just want to tell people, I know we've been talking a lot about being very cautious when we're making these very like pivotal decisions in life when it comes to work or school or whatever. But I also want to let people know, man, it's never too late to pivot. So if you in that spot and you stuck right now, don't think like it's too late or I missed the bus or like whatever. Don't feel like that. Don't feel like and that's with anything. That's with like career choices, like pivoting within your career, going back to school or whatever. A lot of people, especially I feel like a lot of black people, especially, they say stuff like, "Well, I'm too old to do this" or whatever, or they say I'm this age or whatever, like different stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with statements like that is if you don't do anything now, you'll just be like whatever, however old in the future without the thing you still want, right?
Yeah.
So just don't be afraid to go ahead and make that decision now. So like if you didn't make it in the past, like listen, it's all good. It's never too late to be your best self, and just you got it in you, man. Just make that choice. Make that choice.
For sure, man. If I had a mic, mic drop. Boom. My dog just closed us out, man. Tevin, man, you have a good rest of your night, man. Tell Cuz I said, what up? Play me some pimping, man.
This the coldest podcast you'll ever hear. The way we coming with it, people witnessing greatness. Be a part of the journey. I would say it's perfect timing, but it's God's timing. We locked in a time capsule with this one. We got timeless topics. Guess what? I'm your mother's favorite host. Your little brother's OG. I go by the name of Armand Lindsay, but the neighborhood call me Big Pig. I want to welcome y'all to Big Boss Talk, Season 2, The Rebirth. Let's ride, and welcome to a Black Man Thing.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Armand with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Man, it has been an absolute great Sunday. We had a double header this Sunday, trying to fit in multiple interviews in a day. A lot of them, one of them was a reschedule. Not my fault, but this one is a reschedule because it is my fault. And I was so upset, man. I've been telling Tevin offline while we just been kind of just chopping it up. I was just like, man, I was pissed because I know how, like, I just don't like to waste people's time. And Tevin, good people, he was just like, man, don't worry about it, it's all good. But he just don't understand. When I woke up, I was like, golly, I overslept by the hour, and then it was just, you know how it is. But listen. My guest today, I got Mr. Tevin Jenkins, age 26. His career is health inspector. He got his degree in public health. Graduated from USC, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And then years in his profession. He has 3 years in his profession, and he's just been doing big things, man. Let me tell you, Tevin is the. I look up to this. I said I got to get him on the podcast, not only because of like what he do, but like as far as career wise, but just the type of person he is. Like Tevin is the most genuine, coolest cat, one of the coolest cats I know, bro. And like really just, I don't know, when I hear about the creative things he do for like his girl, I be like, man, I wish I could think like that. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could just be articulate or just, you know what I'm saying, be smooth. But I'm just like, that's what makes Tevin. And man, this dude right here, man, I haven't known him for a long time, but for the most part, I've known him for probably about it's going on for like three,
couple years.
Yeah, couple years now. Yeah, a couple years now. So it's crazy just how we linked up, obviously through through my wife, they line sister, and then Tevin came along and he just fit in like glue. You know what I'm saying? Like it's me, Elijah, and Tevin. So the three amigos, we just fit in like glue. But man, Tevin, say what's up to the podcast, bro.
Man, look, that was a amazing introduction. Look, I don't know why you done would have had a gas by head. I'm just me, bro. I'm just me. I'm regular. Nah, but for real, man, I appreciate you having me here, bro. It's an honor to be here, man. I'm lit. I'm so glad I'm here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're on here too. I ain't know if Tevin was gonna do it at first, but Tevin said, "Yeah, I got you, bro." Like, I got you. So I was like, "Bet." And my dog can come on here. I was like, "Man, we good, man." But Tevin, he knows, the whole mission behind the podcast, and I hope, right now it's starting to, catch a little flame, catch a little light, and people starting to understand what we do over here. You know what I'm saying? We highlight, people of color, black people that are being, highly successful in their own and different way. You know what I'm saying? Successful doesn't mean monetary all the time. It could be relationship. It could be, mentally. It could be physically. But then it also has the monetary aspect too, which, a lot of people, that's what we want to achieve is be able to make money, pay, take care of our family, and do what we got to do. And I felt like Tevin fit the mold of it, but we're going to do it the right way, right? So I'm not going to promote anything that I wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not willing to do it, I ain't going to tell somebody, that's watching us, yeah, you got to do it this way, or it's okay to do it that way. Nah, like, we showing you multiple people that's doing it the correct way, the honest way. And they making it, they making it work for them. And if maybe you didn't start off honest, but you can always turn it to honest work. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, can take notes from the podcast and the mission. But Tevin said we usually start with 2 truths and a lie. But Tevin said he sucks at 2 truths and a lie. So he said he was gonna give us his most embarrassing moment. So Tev, you the first one, so you gotta make it good.
Okay. I think I got you, man. But nah, I'm telling you, man. And we talked about this off camera just for a second, man. I cannot do 2 truths and a lie, bro. I'm that bad a liar.
Yeah.
Like I know that's wild, but like I can't play the game. So I was like, well, I got hella embarrassing moments to choose from, so I could just grab one of them. But nah, man. So I guess I have to say, like, my most embarrassing moment probably comes from my senior year of high school. It was I don't know if you know, but I did marching band in high school as a saxophone player, right?
Okay.
So, man, look, I'm telling you, that season was so gas, and like part of the reason was because I had finally, like I said, it's my senior year. I had finally got a solo or whatever. So I was like, yeah, this is dope. Like, I've been waiting on this like my whole high school career. And so, and like people, like every now and then, people say I was pretty good. So I was like, it was hyped up. You feel me? Right. So I was, man, we headed into the first competition of senior year, man. And I'm like, everybody been hyping it up because I got this huge solo in like the first movement or whatever. So everybody lit. Man, we get there. We get to the place for the competition, right? And the people at the school are calling for rain. And I don't know if anybody in the audience know anything about woodwind instruments, but they don't really do too good in no rain. Brass instruments, you kind of get away with it, but woodwinds like your saxophones, clarinets, flutes, they don't really.
They don't do
it. They ain't no good out there, bro. So at first I was like, okay, well, I ain't really tripping. Like, we done did this when it's been raining before and it's been fine, but I don't know, man. The bottom fell out that day. It was coming down on us. So I'm starting to sweat. But I was like, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I'm a senior now. It's like it's younger people out here, so they kind of shook because it's their first time on the field or whatever. So I'm trying to be me. I'm trying to be like, like y'all got it. Like, we done worked at this for months, weeks. Like, we got it. Come on, we finna go out here and we finna kill it like we always do.
Yeah,
man. That first movement start and I'm going and like I'm trying to listen to myself in the forms or whatever on the field. I ain't hearing a sound, bro. Like, I'm not making no noise at all. So I'm thinking to myself, I was like, bro, like maybe I'm just tripping. Like, maybe I'm inside my own head or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what's going on, but I know I'm finna kill this solo when I get up here.
Right.
Now, bro, I gotta tell you, like, the solo for this show, I literally had to like go up on a pedestal and like stand up over the top of everybody and everything. So like the spotlight was on me.
Yeah.
Bro, tell me why I got up there, like the band had set me up and like stopped the music and all so I could do the solo.
Yeah.
Bro, it was dead quiet up there. Like I couldn't play anything. Like, yeah, like my instrument got so wet. that like the pads on the instrument that hold all the air in so specific notes can come out. They had done fell off like throughout the course of the show. So like I'm putting all this air into the instrument and it's no noise. Like I'm up here on this pedestal in front of everybody, bro. And like I said, the music had cut and everything. Like it's an amazing setup.
My boy,
and it was it on mute, bro. Like if anything, you could hear my fingers try to hit the buttons. Like, bro, I'm trying to tell you, dog. And so I'm like, and like what made it so bad, dog, is like that was in the first movement of the show.
Yeah.
We still had 2 other movements to get through. So I'm basically just out there like holding the instrument the whole time.
People looking at you like,
yeah, like people looking at me like I'm crazy, bro. Like, and you could see people in the stands. They was scratching their head. They was like, "What you doing?" Like, so, bro, that's probably still to this day one of the most like embarrassing moments I done ever had in my life, dog. Just because like I had been, and I usually don't like. Everybody, I feel like everybody who know me know I'm not a super duper cocky type person, but I was kind of to my own horn. Like this, I was like, yeah, I really got this. Like I've been waiting on this. Like this is me right here.
My time to shine.
Yeah, it's my time to shine. Got up there, ain't made a sound, bro. Like,
man, that's crazy, bro. I could just picture like everybody getting hyped. The like you said, I'm thinking of like some drumline type stuff. You know how my man came up there in the drumline, he was like, you know what I'm saying? Had to come step forward. I can imagine you, but you just ain't nothing coming at you.
That's how it was. I was trying to tell you, dog. Imagine that scene. It's exactly like that. Imagine that scene, but imagine Buddy like walking up on like a little like pedestal thing, bro. And that was me. Like I could not believe that, bro. Like it took me a while to really like go back and be like, yo, that really happened, because that was. I didn't even know what to do, bro. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't say nothing. Like I had to take the L on the chin, bro. Like I really had to hold it.
I had to.
Man, that's a good one. I don't even know if I got any like super embarrassing moments, because now that you done told me yours, I'm thinking like I'm pretty sure I got some. I would say I don't know. I got a close one, but I have to wait to tell that one. I got another one, but I have to wait to tell that one. But yeah, man, appreciate it, man. That's definitely embarrassing for sure. But I will say, bro, band, like when I never played band or anything like that. Like in high school, we was so, you know what I'm saying? We was like so prone to like. We always thought like the band dudes was, not it. You know what I'm saying? And then we thought we was the top notch stuff, because we played sports, and you'll never catch somebody athletic, some jock, playing band, like on some real high school musical type stuff. But the one thing I did like is the band, y'all had y'all's own like culture. You know what I'm saying? Within y'all's, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all could get, y'all get so hyped about, just things that from the outside, I'm like, why are you so hype about this? But it's really like when you talk about people getting in that first chair, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a big deal, because they had to beat out, maybe 2-3 people to get to that first chair. So when, somebody like me, like first chair, well, now that I know, but back then I was like first chair, like, okay, you get to play your little, your instrument, but you had to battle for that, so it's a lot of respect that come on that first chair. So now, so understanding that, it put me in a different perspective, and I'm like, okay, I need to start respecting people's craft, and just, I had to mature. You just grow up. But what was the best part about being in band? Even though I am jealous that you know how to play the saxophone, I wish I could play an instrument. But what was the best thing about band, man, that you enjoyed?
Man, first I'll lead off and say, man, I'm a huge advocate of you know, anybody can play an instrument, man. Like it's never too late. It's never like it's nothing like that. Like it's not like now what instrument you land on, you know, that's your own journey you gotta take. But I'm a huge like proponent of everybody got something.
Yeah.
Everybody got something, man. Now it might not be what you think. I thought I was going to be a trumpet player for whatever reason, but that ain't work out. That ain't even. I wasn't even close. But everybody got it in them, man. You just got to find it. No, but probably one of the best things, or like my favorite thing about, man, was just the probably just the camaraderie, man. Because I know, like, I know you, and we hear it all the time, heard it all the time, still hear it to this day. Like a lot of people kind of look at like kids who do band, and we tend to be a little eccentric. I can't take that from nobody. Like that's
I done seen some band. What? Well, you acting a fool. You better
like they be crazy. They be kind of crazy, kind of weird, bro. I won't go against that because we was definitely pretty eccentric. But like the thing that really I think caused a lot of people to have a lot of respect for us is because not only how good we were as a unit, they could see that we was like, it was always like a connection. So like it wasn't just limited to seeing us like on the field or something, like making all these like forms and stuff, or playing all this music, but it was always like whenever they seen us like in school or like walking through the halls or whatever, it was always like a real genuine connection. Like you could tell, like, you know, these people, it's like a unit, right? It's multiple people, but they all kind of like they all of one mind, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
One sound.
Yeah, exactly, man. I want to say it. I want to say it, but that's
it, man. Yeah.
But that's what's up, man. I definitely think, you know, like you said, you know, y'all moved as a unit. Y'all a team. You know what I'm saying? The same way you look at a football team, basketball team, y'all a team. Y'all spend a lot of hours together, a lot of time with each other, and it's like y'all, and you know, march, like even playing an instrument is one thing, but then when you got to add the marching component as far as like steps, continue to play the instrument, memorizing where you need to be, the cadence, like that's a whole beast in itself. So like when you really look at it, you gotta, you know, give credit when credit is due. Like it's a skill, hands down. Like even though, you know, as far as the characteristics that, you know, some of the individuals may display, at the end of the day, you can't take somebody like me and put them in your shoes. Like I wouldn't make it. Like I would have been like, all right, I'm going home. Cause for first, I can't play an instrument. Then number two, I gotta memorize where I'm going, like steps, you know, just movements. I'm just like, nah, that probably wasn't for me. But like I said, kudos to you, cause I always wanted to play an instrument. I thought about doing like the piano. My cousin, he played the piano, but I never could get into the piano. I know a little bit about the keys, not too much, but beyond that, man, that's about it. But we gonna hop into it, man. Tell us, man, where you from? Tell us where you from, and then tell me, you know, we're gonna start off. What did you see yourself being growing up? Like, what did you say? Like, I'm gonna be this when I grow up.
Okay, word. So yeah, I'll go ahead and say where I'm from. I don't know if a lot of people really gonna know this, but I'm from a real small town called Lawrence, South Carolina. It's about, I always say the same thing, it's about 30 minutes outside of Greenville or whatever. And a lot of people like to get on to me because they like, bro, Lawrence not small, it's not small. And like I feel that because Lawrence County itself has like a bunch of little like towns or cities or whatever in it, but like the actual like city of Lawrence, it's not that big, bro. It's real. I'm hesitant to say rural, but it is very quiet. Like a lot of older people especially kind of retire to places like that because it don't be a lot going on at all, bro. Like pretty much everybody just kind of to themselves, but it ain't much of nothing as far as like compared to somewhere like a Greenville or nothing like that. It's night and day.
Gotcha. Shout out to Lawrence, man. Shout out to my boy Rondo.
Right. Oh man, but no. So you was like, you were saying, what did I see myself being?
Yeah.
I had a crazy imagination when I was younger, bro. Like, and you probably not gonna guess. You never gonna guess this one, but like when I was growing up, I was like set. It was like set in my head that I was gonna be like an astronaut, bro. Like I used to
Wow.
stay, like, bro. I'm telling you, I used to stay like going outside, like trying to find the little like constellations and
Yeah.
stuff, like reading up on the planets and like everything. Like I just knew I wanted to go to space, bro. Like that was my thing, and like for the longest, like I really was trying to follow up on it, like going into my freshman year of high school, I was gonna take like I had it in my head, bro. I was like, well, I'm gonna go try to be like an aerospace engineer or
Yeah.
something like that. That'll get me next to the spaceships or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and then I can maybe kind of pivot into being a astronaut or whatever. But I'm gonna get to space some kind of way, bro. That was
I wish I wish you was on space, my boy.
Yeah, like, bro, that was it, man. I was so sick, but then, like, I'm telling you, when I got my first wake up call, bro, I took that first intro like engineering class my freshman year of high school,
Yeah.
and bro, I had to wrestle with that class so much, bro. Like, and it was crazy because everybody around me, it was like light bulbs was going off in their head like all the time. I was like, bro, I'm missing something. Like, I just ain't got it in me. Like, but I was determined to stick with it though, bro.
Okay.
So I was like, I finished that first class, and I was like, well, let me just try the second class. Maybe I just wasn't ready for it or whatever, but I kind of know what to expect now. Like, I'm gonna go into it, I'm gonna be a little better.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that next class was even worse, like, bro, if I had to fight with that first class, I was going through it in the second one, man. And I just knew, I was like, maybe this is not the call, right? Like,
this ain't my calling.
Yeah, I got to do some soul searching, bro. Something.
Yeah.
Okay. So, man, that would have been dope, bro. Like, I want to meet an astronaut, and I really want to know, like, bro, how you become an astronaut? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know the path of how you get into, become an astronaut. You get into NASA, like, it just seemed like a secret agency that is like only chosen by a select few. Like, everybody just can't pop up at NASA or be like,
Exactly.
I want to be an astronaut. You know what's crazy is I rarely hear kids say, I want to be an astronaut. If I ask the kid what you want to be, I'm telling you, I've never heard astronaut. You the first person I ever heard that, and I wish you was an astronaut, just so I could be like, bro, how is it in space? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm telling you, I thought that was finna be your boy, man. I really did.
okay, so then, after the second class, he was like, I'm going through it, like the engineering class. What did you, in your mind, you was like, okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm not supposed to be an engineer, but what's the next option? You know what I'm saying? How did you get into the next option?
Yeah, so for sure. So it's kind of interesting because I don't really think I had a true like I don't really think the switch flipped on like what I really was trying to do or what I really want to move toward until I got to college for real. But I could kind of talk about the whole like high school situation though. Mm-hmm. So like not long after I finished up with the engineering classes, I was the same year that I had took the second engineering class in the track or whatever to graduate with like the special like engineering medal or whatever. I also had to take my first foreign language or whatever that same year. And so I was like, okay, well, I had always wanted to learn Spanish too.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm lit. And come to find out, I was pretty good at Spanish too. So I was like, I was going dumb with that.
Yeah.
And so, I had done I kind of connected with like with the Spanish teacher or whatever. And she used to talk about like her experience with like college and stuff like that, or like higher education. And one thing she always mentioned was she always wanted to like go to undergrad somewhere and be like she wanted to be like a Spanish and psychology major, or like a psych major, Spanish minor, or something like that. And so in my mind, I was like, well, that don't sound too bad. So I guess like on my own, I was like, okay, well, psychology sound a little interesting. Like I might just kind of like pick that as my major and kind of see what happens with it. But I don't want to spoil what's later in the podcast, but I'll just say that was kind of where my head was at from, I guess, the rest of high school leading into like my I guess like my freshman year of college.
For sure. Okay.
Well, I mean, we gonna go right into it, man. I mean, you kind of segued in. I do want to, figure out as far as, I guess, where do you pull a lot of your determination? What do you pull? How you are as a person, like your character and what you believe in, and just how hard you go out and work every single day. And I know obviously undergrad. You still in not undergrad. You in grad. Getting your master, grad school. So I know a few stories are just about the grad school and just like how sometimes it was tough in moments, but then you had some success in moments as well. But just where did that determination and grit come from, man?
Yeah, so it's crazy. I'm gonna try to paint the picture as best I can, man. I'm gonna try to. So like I had kind of hinted to, I kind of came into my freshman year undergrad at USC. And I really, like I said, I was set, bro. Like I just knew, I was like, I'm gonna do this psych major, Spanish minor thing. Like it sound good. Like I think that's got my name on it for real. And I took my first psych class and I loved it. And like on top of that, I was doing like amazing in the class too. Like I was like, okay, this is dope, bro. Like I really like this or whatever. Fast forward to the end of that year or end of that semester, we started talking about like the next classes you was gonna have to take to like continue with the major or whatever. And some of the like professors and stuff would come speak about like, I guess other stuff that was gonna be touched on like in their classes, like within the next round or whatever, or the next semester, excuse me. And they would be in there talking, and it was like a night and day difference between when my professor was teaching and when they was teaching. And I was like, well, maybe it's just the professor. Maybe like he just a really good teacher, and like I'm really like connecting with him, because all these other people coming in here and this sound like I'm finna go to sleep in here.
It don't even hit the same.
I don't even like. It's like they talking about completely different topics. So I really had to do like some real deep like looking within myself and really trying to see what really moved me. And when I got down to it, bro, really what it boiled down to was I knew that I wanted to help people, like if nothing else. Now, how I was going to go about that, I didn't really know at the time when I was sitting in them psych classes, but I knew that was what I wanted to do. And I think that's what kind of pulled me toward the whole public health thing, because like I knew I didn't want to be a doctor or nothing like that. That one really, I wasn't trying to really go that route.
Gotcha.
But like I said, I knew that I wanted to be someone that was really looking out for a bunch of communities and everything like that. And I think that's what really pulled me toward public health. And fast forwarding just a little bit more into, I want to say it was maybe my junior year, I had to take like a speech class or something. And it's crazy because I was taking the class and I was like, well, it's not really, I'm just taking this so I can get to the next set of public health classes, basically. Yeah. But one of the assignments that the professor had was he really wanted us to speak to something that we were really passionate about. He basically told us to pick something that we could really talk about for hours. And at first I really struggled with it, but I kind of sat with myself for the longest. And something that really got to me was something that's known in the field as like food insecurity.
Okay.
Right. So when people like if me and you go get something to eat, we know for a fact that we know where our next meal gonna come from. Like it's a given, whether we gonna cook or whether we gonna go get something, we know we gonna get our next meal. But a lot of people, like they don't have that same level of, I know I'm gonna get my food in the morning from XYZ. It's gonna be we gotta wake up and figure out what we finna do. And that's a lot of people's life, right? Yeah. And I think looking back, once I really figured out that that's something that I really like was passionate about, I started looking at my life and looking back at places like Lawrence, and it was a lot of communities that you could kind of see was in places that we call like food deserts, to where it's like a lot of places where it's not a lot of healthy eating options around. So like there's all these neighborhoods where like it's nothing but, you know, like corner stores, McDonald's, fast food,
not the best,
that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Like you're not finna find like no Whole Foods or Publix, or even, and I say that, but not even like a Balo or a Food Line. Like you're not finna find that around nowhere. And like kids like that, like they not who come up in the, they not finna know no better when it comes time to like fend for themselves, and so they're gonna continue those same eating habits, and that's how you get stuff like pre-diabetes and everything like that, and people just kind of born into the same cycle that's going to repeat over and over. And so like I said, man, stuff like that I really figured out late in my sophomore year, early in my junior year. Like that's the kind of type stuff I always been wanting to do. That's the kind of helping people that I wanted to do. So I just kind of keep stuff like that in my mind, man, and that's kind of what drives me, I'll say.
Okay, that's what's up, man. I mean, that's crazy. So as far as like, okay, so you was good at Spanish. I failed at Spanish. I failed Spanish. So I'm glad you understand. You still know a little bit, or kind of fell off a little bit?
Yeah, no, I will say I'm probably not quite as fluent as I was, but I definitely can like. It's crazy because we'll be walking by people like in the store or like in any place really, and I'll find myself like I'll hear it in Spanish and it like automatically translates to like English, what it would mean in English or whatever. So I'm like, okay, like it's still there, it's right? Still and like exactly. And it's crazy that you asked, because I like in these past couple months I've been trying to like really like step it up and be like a natural, get as fluent as like natural speakers do, because I do a little bit of Spanish tutoring on the side with like kids and stuff like that. Yeah. So like I said, and granted, a lot of the work that they do, they're not really to the whole like conversational like speaking type stuff yet. They still doing the hard down like regular translations, like this is what this means in English, now how you say that in Spanish, that type thing. So I've definitely had to stay, you know, at least familiar with the language. And I guess I probably couldn't have the most fluid conversation, but I could at least get my way through it.
Okay, bet. I like that, man. I stuck with sign language, so like I had to find something. I failed Spanish. I couldn't conjugate to save my life, and they was just it's the way that I don't know. Maybe it was a teacher. I just never had luck, and I think it was because I didn't put the time into it. But I really wish I would have. But I do know sign language a little bit, so.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? So I can do a little bit of sign language and articulate here and there, kind of how you do with Spanish. So it's really cool to see. But I mean, you also hit on something that's crazy, that it goes deeper than like, you know, what I even thought. And you talk about, you know, obviously we know there's cycles for everything. So we talk about, like, I know when we talk about the cycle of, let's just say, Black African American males, as far as like, okay, the cycle is this, we born, some of us are born with or without fathers in our lives. If you're born without them, you don't have that male figure guidance, you end up doing a lot of different things, who knows. So you deal with that particular trauma, then you kind of grow up, maybe get a girlfriend, try to get married, but then that ends up falling off. Like, that type of cycle. But there's a cycle as far as healthcare as well too. So when you talk about food, like, how does a kid know, how to eat, non-processed food? If, that's all they got. You know what I'm saying? So that's all they got. We talk about, fats and sugars, but that's all they know in their surrounding area, because all they got is ABC store. We got the McDonald's around the corner. We got Wendy's, but we don't have a Publix. We don't have a Whole Foods. We don't have a place where we can just pick up natural vegetables, natural fruits, and be able to eat that as well. So as you grow and you get these habits, that's all you know. So you continue to eat like that. And then, like you said, you get pre-diabetes, you get all types of stuff. So it's like, I ain't think of it as broad, on a broader scale, right? I know about bad eating, but you also got to take into effect that if you live in this type of environment, how can a doctor or somebody that probably never grew up in this type of situation can expect somebody to say, to know how to really treat their body? So it's crazy to me that you said that, and it was kind of eye-opening that, there is a cycle as far as, food and, consuming bad food. So, I mean, I think that's pretty deep as well, and I'm glad you kind of was able to resonate with that as far as like a passion to be able to move forward. So, talk to me as far as about what you do now on a day-to-day basis. So what do you do now, and what does 8 hours out your day kind of consist of?
I got you. Yeah. So basically, what I do now is I'm essentially a health inspector, right? Okay. And that's pretty general term. And when I say that, a lot of people think, oh, you the people who be going and putting the letters on the restaurants and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, well, like, that's not entirely true. Like, we do put letters on people's doors, but we're not really like my team and everything, we don't really do like commercial food and like stuff like this. Okay. So we won't go see like your McDonald's or like your favorite like restaurants and stuff like that. We don't go see them. What we really do is we go and inspect extended care facilities. So like your nursing homes, like your assisted livings, and like your day program type places. So like your intermediate care facilities, that kind of thing. That's basically what we do, man. A typical work day is, me, and you typically pair it with another person or two. We all just kind of meet up at the office. We typically know just a little while beforehand that we got to go to place X, place Y, and place Z. Right. We'll just kind of, go over just a few things, and then we'll go ahead and head there. And we got a bunch of tools that we use to kind of help us audit them efficiently. And what those tools allow us to do is take a look at different aspects of care as far as what's provided within the facilities themselves. And depending on how well the place does is going to be reflected on like these different reports that we have to print off for them and review and everything at the end. And then like I said, and included in that is sometimes taking a look at like their kitchen and how they prepare food and stuff. So we do have to do letter grades for that part, but I think you kind of see what I mean, where I say we not exactly the people who gonna come and like put a B or whatever on your favorite spot or whatever.
Hey, they just like, you the one that put them letters up there? Like, I ain't going to no C establishment. Only A's and B's right here. So, but nah, that's pretty dope, man. And so I know you also talked about, just that particular part of, being in the health field. You wanted to go a different route, and there's a lot of different routes that you could actually go to, because we had this conversation in Greenville as far as the resources that were provided to you guys as far as understanding what routes and what departments you can actually dive into versus the whole broad spectrum of just healthcare in general. So tell me about how, what niche you actually, once you're done with grad school, what niche you actually want to go in, and then how did you come about finding out that was even a niche, or, that you could actually fit in that, in that department?
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, we kind of spoke about this briefly before. I know when I was in undergrad, and I can't speak for anybody else who got a public health degree from Carolina with me, but I always heard, the good news is you got a lot of options. The bad news is you got a lot of options. Like, so I always heard that, and for me, like, and I guess to some people, like, that's great. Like they love that kind of thing, but
Right.
I think at the time I kind of needed a little more guidance as far as everything else. So when when I was going through and doing my degree path and everything, you would always hear phrases like that, like, it's a lot out there, it's this out there, it's that out there, whatever. But I didn't really see any like concrete positions until like late into my degree path. So that was I always felt that like I just needed a little more guidance in a particular direction. So I think I kind of got and this isn't to talk down on like the curriculum that I got or whatever from Carolina, or like the faculty that was in place to kind of help me get where I am now.
Right.
I just think I needed some different information than the kind that they were giving out to students at the time. So as far as so once I finish up here at the role that I'm currently in, I definitely want to come back to a lot of the things that I spoke on earlier as it relates to like things like food insecurity and stuff like that. Stuff like I could talk about that for hours.
Yeah.
Like I could go on and on about stuff like that. So after and I don't know if I said this, but I am currently getting my MHA from UNC Chapel Hill.
Okay.
Only got a little while left. We trying to get on through.
Yeah, get on through.
Yeah. But no. So after I wrap that up, I definitely plan to pivot into some more policy side work, kind of surrounding a lot of the concepts and stuff that I was talking about earlier. So like your food insecurity, or like your community design elements and different things like that. That's kind of something that that I feel like I would want to pivot into.
Okay.
And I know that the current role that I'm in now is not particularly aligned perfectly with what I just described.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I do really appreciate about the current role that I'm in is that it exposes you, it gives you a lot of experience really fast, right? So I've seen a lot of the policy side implications and like what those things actually look like in the real world.
Right.
So I can be, while the role that I'm in now might not be this this exact picture of myself that I have in my head, I feel like it's still working for the betterment of my career overall, because I'm still gaining something from where I'm at now.
Yeah, got you. So that sounds good, man. So tell me, so with public health, right? When people listen to that and they may listen to this and they hear your story as far as like why you got into it. Obviously, you wanted to help people. There's so many different ways that you can help people, right? I talk to a lot of different, healthcare inspectors and just talk to them. I kind of, and it seems like it's a popular thing amongst, just, I guess, just different individuals that I know. I don't know. Somehow I just know a lot of health inspectors and just kind of know that space. And so I will ask, when choosing the major or choosing, to go this route, was it about the money? Was it solely based on, hey, I want to help people and I think this is probably my way of doing it because I know I don't want to be a doctor. Maybe I don't want to spend more time in school than I have to. But was it about the money for you?
Yeah, so I love this question. I love this question because it just causes a lot of thoughts to really be provoked. And so I guess I'll say this. It's not all about the money necessarily, but I also think that a lot of people's knee-jerk reaction to this question is no, like it can't be all about the money like right now. But I think you also have to have enough presence of mind to realize that that's a perspective that you can only gain and appreciate when you're on the other side. So after you've already had money, I think that's the only time where you can say no, like it's not all about money, because when you talk to people who are like fresh out of college or still in undergrad, you know, they're not typically. No, I know you got some outliers and you got people who like just really have miracles going on in their
I
life.
like where
And
you
I
going
love
with
that
this.
for people. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and I love that for people, but a lot of times people aren't just coming straight out the gate like with all of this money. So I don't think it's wise to look at people in situations like that and say, no, like you can't, it's not always going to be, it's not all about the money or anything like that. I think you really can only have that perspective once you've been on the other side of it. So a lot of people that I know, that's the perspective that they're speaking from. They're individuals who've had what most people would consider a lot of money. Like, you know, they've been in 6-figure roles for X amount of time. And while they might not be in that same exact space now they can say things like, oh, well, it's not all about the money because
you done got it.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, you sitting there with it. So
yeah.
It's hard to look at recent grads or undergraduates and say something like that. So I'll say this. I'm not necessarily willing to do something that I absolutely hate just because they're finna throw bags and bags of money at me. But what I am saying is I probably would still like hear them out and kind of have to see for myself. So I would say that's a more honest perspective, that you really have to get out here and see what kind of where the money is essentially. So who's offering the roles that have X amount, this salary range that you're looking for or whatever. And then you have to look at that job description or that PD, that position description, and really ask yourself, you know, is this something that you're going to just love doing every day? And if it's not something that you really can see yourself, if it's just going to drain you every day, then by no means am I saying, yeah, go do it just because, they're going to pay you, because you're not gonna last.
You won't last.
Like, so you're not gonna last, man. And I know you, like, a lot of people think they will, but like you'd be surprised that like stuff like that will drain you after a while. So it's an individual. I think it's definitely an individual journey that you have to really take with yourself and really kind of look inward and say, okay, am I willing to leverage my happiness right now for a little bit more money? Or vice versa, am I willing to leverage a little less money, but do work that I really, really enjoy? Yeah. And I think you can get to what you would think success is by going either route. Yeah. Because each route is going to have their pros and cons. So while you might, you know, love your job and everything, you may not necessarily be able to maintain the type of lifestyle that you want to live outside of work. Whereas in the flip-flop, it might like tear you down on the inside to get up every day, you know, hear that 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock alarm go off and know you got to go in here to this job you don't really care about. You don't want to see none of these people on the job, right. But you know, the paycheck is going to, you know, make you get your mind right every couple weeks or every month.
That sounds awful, bro. When you think about what we just talked about, like why we gotta give and take? You know what I'm saying? Like why everything gotta be a give and take in this freaking world? Like I either gotta sacrifice happiness, my mental stability, less money, or I gotta have making more money, but my mental stability ain't always there because this job just stressing me out. Why is it, you know what I'm saying? And some people, you know, that's the question. Like when people, you know, listen to podcasts like this, you know, they'll come to the realization like at some point, I mean, life ain't nothing but you just giving and taking all the time, giving and taking. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that could be like, that sounds bad. Like to me, it sounds depressing, but that's why I think right now it's been a lot more people going, I guess, the entrepreneurial route, because they feel like, all right, if I'm gonna be be stressed out, upset about something, I'm gonna at least be stressed out about my own vendetta, my own product, my own business. Like I can be stressed because it's me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm working for me. I ain't working for nobody else. Like they don't got no skin in the game. Me and this guy, we ain't got no relationship. But me, I never try to let myself down. So it's more emotional. It's more meaningful, and you'll be willing to go through some of the BS that people go through because it's like, all right, it's for me. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, depending on how hard you work, you can also get the financial gain that you're looking for. Just depending on how hard you work, right? It may not, it's not gonna work out for everybody. You may not start off like that. Your idea may not catch on. You may have to go through about 10 ideas. But if you really dedicated and devoted to it, you know, you can definitely, I'm seeing a lot of, you know, entrepreneurial things right now where people are putting themselves out there a little bit more, and just saying, you know, the heck with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got one
Right.
life. I got one life to live. Why I gotta sit here and, you know what I'm saying? And because I mean, just, I don't know about you. Maybe that didn't sound bad to you, but it just like I gotta sacrifice something to get something. You know what I'm saying? Versus why can't there be a healthy balance? Like I don't think anybody, and it's not the fact that you're not gonna. Okay, there's gonna, even if you do something that you love, there's always gonna be some bad days. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is more or less, if you are waking up and like dreading going into work, like that's not a healthy relationship.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah.
yeah. I feel you, man. I feel you, and that's real. That's real, and a lot of people have to face that all the time. And for a lot of people, like you said, that entrepreneurial route is their way to really exercise their agency and their choice over the situation and say, well, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna participate in the give and take anymore. Like I gotta get there for me, and I gotta get there now. You feel me? So like I can appreciate that. But one thing that I think that a lot of people have to think about too is, and this is something that I've had to really, keep kind of like going within myself too, is the sacrifices that you're making. It's not going to always be like this, right? So while you might be at whatever position you're in now and you might hate it, if they're giving you X amount of money for this or that, I'm a firm believer in, everything happens for a reason, and everything is going to happen to get you toward your true passion and your purpose in life, right? So while you might be at this position that, you really kind of, you really, you can appreciate it. Like it's a pretty good job. You like it for the most part, but they're not giving you as much money right now. There's still lessons that you can gain there. And I think that on the flip side, that there's also stuff that you can take away from whatever position that you might be in right now, where you really just can't see yourself for an extended period of time, but they're supporting you well financially. I think in both of those routes, you're gonna take something that's gonna help you progress to the next level, right? And I think a lot of people have to keep that in mind, because this is a lot of times people didn't really tell us it was gonna be like this on the other side of the stage. They just kind of, I think I speak for a lot of people, a lot of millennials, even, when I feel like everybody kind of told us, go to school, get these degrees or whatever. And like that, yeah, like they had us think like life was gonna be cake after we got these degrees. And you get into the real world and you like, man, this is not what y'all said it was. Like, and it's hard, it's rough. That's rough, man. That's heavy. But I think what really keeps me going, and I think what you have to have is, you just have to have, something within yourself that lets you know, okay, I know, like, this is just going to help me even more when I get to the next phase. Yeah. So I think with all kind of storms in life, and I'll say a lot of people love to say, we in the same boat. I don't necessarily agree with that. We're not in the same boat, but we in the same storm, right? You feel me? So like, different people are going to go through these things, but I think in each of the situations are things that you can take and are going to make you the next version of yourself that much better, because of the things that you went through here on whatever level. Like I said, whether that's at a position where they're not paying you as much, but you love it, or at the position that you hate, but they allow you to live like a lifestyle that you really can appreciate and that you're really proud of.
Yeah, that's a bet, man. That's a bet, man. Whew. But that's deep. That's deep. Just because, like I said, man, I see it all the time, and I kind of struggle with it myself. Like, you try to figure out, me. I always been the person that, I'm gonna find a job. I'm gonna try to make money any way I can. But you come to a point where sometimes you always say all money ain't good money. So even though you get the dollars, but you don't realize what come with the money. You know what I'm saying? They always say more money, more problems, and I mean that's kind of a true statement. Unless you can but with more money, you can also do a lot more good, and you can limit the how drastic the problem is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our own issues, like I would say almost 70% of most people's issues is the American dollar.
Yeah.
Getting more money, because you can solve so many different problems with money. And it's crazy, just like the game, like, you know what I'm saying, like, because I'm a believer in God, and I'll be thinking like, God, why you put us in this game?
Why you put us
know what I'm saying?
man?
Like, I'm out here chasing this dollar, trying to find my whole purpose. Like, it's every player for themselves. This is a one life game, and it's just like, this is crazy. Like, the stuff you got to do, to make money. People in different situations, and you just be like, man, it got to be, it's something better. You know what I'm saying, on the other side. But nah, we're gonna keep it right there. We ain't gonna go too deep, but I like that. I like that. So after let's talk about the resources, right? So we talk about resources. You didn't find a niche until later on. You start sitting down with some of these professors and sitting down with people that they will have these meetings for you that before you start maybe like a semester of school, they get the people to come in and tell you like, hey, this is what our class is gonna be. This is what the courses. This is what we do. How do we get, what resource would you like to see put in place for people in high school? You know what I'm saying? To be able to, what resource could we put in place to help people find their niche earlier? Because not only with time, it does take, when you get into school, it takes money to, go to school. And if you playing around or you change your major 3-4 times, you just pushing yourself back, putting yourself in more debt, right? And it sucks that America even wants us to decide what we want to do at 18, give us 4 years to figure it out, and then come out at 22, still not grown yet, 22, and figure out like, nah, this is what I'm set to do for 40, 50 years, for the rest of my life or less. I think that's backwards in itself. So I always want to ask you, or I just ask people in general, like, what resources, or what could we implement at a younger age, if that's changing how the school system even operates, where kids got a mandatory do like a year or something at like an alternative school where they teach you like certain trades and stuff like that, so they can get a feel of what it takes to actually do the job, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, would you say getting internships early, would benefit? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we decrease the age of when internships are allowed to be in the workplace? Because I only hear about internships. I need an internship to get out to graduate. So most people find the internships they junior, senior year. Like, that's too late to figure out if you really gonna like it. So now your junior, senior year, you figure out, oh heck no, I can't do this. Now you gotta readjust the last 2.5 years you just did. Like, it's backwards. So like, what would you suggest in a perfect world? What would you suggest?
I feel you, man. I feel you, and when you really sit down and think about it, it's an interesting system that a lot of people choose to go to school operating in, because they putting all this pressure on 17 and 18-year-olds, and on top of that, they finna lend them tens of thousands of dollars of money at the same time, and these kids don't 100% know what they want to do yet, but you finna let them go into X amount of debt. But we don't have to go there right now.
We go second part.
right. Yeah, but as far as resources, man, I think for a lot of people and for myself included, what really would have been beneficial is if I tried to, if I kind of worked backwards in a sense. So like I thought about what position I wanted to do or what I wanted to end up at, and kind of work backwards and say, okay, well, if I want to do this, then I know I have to go to school and do this. I know I need to take a job here. I need to get a job at these like entities or like anything like that. Because and I say for public health specifically, I think that's an obstacle for people. So like even with what I just explained earlier, with like a position that does something around like food insecurity or community design or any kind of policy work surrounding that, that position doesn't really have a name. Like you can't go tell somebody what that position really is. You just kind of have to get in where you fit in and kind of really put your feelers out and say, okay, this is what I'll be doing if I go here or whatever. So I think the sooner in life where you can say, okay, this is what I want to do, and then kind of reverse engineer your life around that to get you there, I think that would be the most efficient thing. But the next part of that is I think you can only have that perspective if you really like connected with people and you really, and I hate when people say network, but you really got to network with people, something like that. And like and I'll say this for anybody who might be listening, because I know when I was younger and even now, I can't really appreciate when people say you got a network, because nobody ever says what that means for real.
Yeah,
like
they just say network.
Yeah, they just say network. So like you tell an 18-year-old or whoever you got a network, like they finna look at you and throw their hands up. So what I mean by that is talk to people who are either in the field that you think you might like or are at least adjacent to the field that you think you might like. So talk to them, kind of pick their brain, tell them the kind of things that you're interested in so they can take that information and say, oh, okay, well, I can't really help you with that, but listen, I got a colleague at XYZ, they kind of do stuff around that. Let me put you in contact with this person. And so now, like, the more times you do that, now you're doing what people know is networking. You basically trying to talk to people, pick people's brain, and in return, they're picking yours, and they're kind of keeping your interests in mind when they have conversations with other people, right? You feel me? So like, when people say network, they're basically saying that you want to try your best to get access to other people's like connects, basically. So you might not know anybody. You might know John Doe at company A, right? But John Doe know a lot of people, right? So you see what I'm saying? So like that's really what people say when they say network. You want to get next to these people who have a lot of connections that are in your field or adjacent to the field, and you kind of want to do some at the same time. While you're doing that, go ahead and try to get a lot of that, like, and I know it's not a one-stop shop, so you're gonna always revisit it, but take that inventory within yourself and kind of see, okay, what really moves me, what really is gonna make me like get up out of bed every day. Like I always say, and I won't say or let me back up. One saying that I love is like something that you would almost do for free, right? So stuff that you would do and you think, golly, I can't believe they're gonna pay me for this. Like stuff like that. Take inventory of different things like that. And while that might not be the kind of things that make you do that, they might not be like completely aligned with your career in their current form. I definitely think you can find the characteristics of that in like a role or something somewhere. Right. So definitely do things like that. And I think you'll be a whole lot better off than a lot of people, including myself, because I had to do a lot of that work on the back end where I was kind of trying to play catch up. And I feel like I'm still doing the work a lot of times now, but if I had started it earlier, I think I would have been that much better off for it.
Yeah, if you do most of the hard work up front, it'll be easy in the back end, because ain't nothing like saying you want to do something and you didn't do the reconnaissance or you didn't really take a deep dive in the field and figure out like, oh, I do not like this. I thought it was, you thought it was glitz and glamour, but it's nothing like, you having made it to graduation day and then you end a job you don't like and now you wishing like, like how do I readjust? How do I change course without doing too much damage? Because now I got an apartment I gotta pay for. I got liability. I got a girlfriend.
You got bills, man. You got
wife.
bills.
I got bills. Like I can't just say I bumped this job because it's other things that come into play. So the more heads up we can give people, I think the better off they would be as far as just mentally wise, because that's like you say, life is hard. Life will take a toll on you mentally, physically. It will beat you down. Like one of my favorite quotes is when Rocky Balboa, when he was like, it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about if you can keep taking them and keep getting up, because you're gonna be tested every I ain't gonna say every day, but man, it's gonna come. Storms come and they go. But when them storms come, it's definitely a test to your will. And we just want to help better equip everybody. When that time comes, you could be in the best situation possible to be able to handle those situations versus being all over the place. And then a storm comes, a situation happens, and you don't even know how to respond or react, and it just spirals negatively. So I think, Tevin really gave us a lot of game and a lot of wisdom on just how we can think, ahead of the game. And I think me and Elijah was even talking. We was just like, man, wouldn't it be cool if somebody pulled up on like a doctor or something like, look, can you? I'm trying to network. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Can you put me in? Like, what do I need to do to get in this bed? Like, I would love to hear a story or hear somebody just say, hey, I pulled up because y'all said I needed the network. I pulled up and it worked. You know what I'm saying? Like, that'll be a cool little success story that I would love to hear. So if you got any type of stories like that, guys, just let me know. Drop them in the comments. But Tevin, man, that's gonna get it for the conversation, bro. I can't believe we even been talking for over an hour, man. It just seemed like it just went. Time just flew by, man. Flew by. So the last thing that we do, Tevin, you already know, is we do recommendations, man. Is there any? I can take any recommendation, but I want a recommendation from somebody that you think is, maybe somebody you look up to, somebody that you think is dope. Definitely fits the mold of the podcast. Can really give a lot of just wisdom and just knowledge, and I think just be cool. Maybe a different career path and just somebody that could be cool to chop it up with. What's your recommendations, man?
Yeah, man. So I definitely would have to say one of my line brothers, Alex Grant.
Mm-hmm.
Man, look. So Alex is in. Alex does a lot of like media and stuff like that. So he's the guy with the camera at a lot of the like the NFL games and stuff like that. He's the guy getting the shots, doing the posts on social media.
For sure.
And man, I really think you gotta at least reach out to him, man, because Alex is somebody who like. I think we talked about it. We touched on it just briefly earlier about like, really finding your passion and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Alex is like a textbook example of somebody who has found that passion and has just run with it and like made it work in the best way they know how. He's somebody like you look at them and you just know like they're operating in their gift. Yeah. Like they just, you can see it. You can see it on their life, man. So that's Alex got it going on, man. He the man. He the man for real.
Bet. Hey, listen, what I'm gonna do, man, if you can help me out. So this is I asked all the guests. So if you can send me whether it's Instagram, whether they like to be communicated by cell phone, however you can do it, man. I just need to get his information, and then if you could message him, text him, and say, hey, I got a buddy, Armand. He does his podcast. He asked for a recommendation. I actually sat down with it. It was a great conversation, but he just wants to highlight, different black people that's doing different things and being successful. He's probably going to reach out. Just let him know if you're willing or you're not. No matter what he say, it don't matter. Like, I'll just see what he says. If he's available, he's available. If he's not, it's no big deal. But if you can just give me that warm hand toss, I can do the rest of the leg work. But man, I appreciate you, Tevin. Man, it's been great.
It's dope, man. It's been dope. It's been dope. If I could just leave with one more thing, bro.
Mhm.
One more. I just want to tell people, I know we've been talking a lot about being very cautious when we're making these very like pivotal decisions in life when it comes to work or school or whatever. But I also want to let people know, man, it's never too late to, pivot. So if you in that spot and you stuck right now, don't think like it's too late or I missed the bus or like whatever. Don't feel like that. Don't feel like and that's with anything. That's with like career choices, like pivoting within your career, going back to school or whatever. A lot of people, especially I feel like a lot of Black people especially, they say stuff like, well, I'm too old to do this or whatever, or they say I'm this age or whatever, like different stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with statements like that is if you don't do anything now, you'll just be like whatever, however old in the future without the thing you still want, right?
Yeah.
So just don't be afraid to go ahead and make that decision now. So like if you didn't make it in the past, like listen, it's all good. It's never too late to be your best self, and just you got it in you, man. Just make that choice. Make that choice.
For sure, man. If I had a mic drop. Boom. My dog just closed us out, man. Tevin, man, you have a good rest of your night, man. Tell cuz I said what up, and man, you enjoy it, man. I appreciate you, bro. So much love for you, man. If you ever need anything, anything that I could do to help, just let me know, man. And we would love to, when you graduate and you get some years into the profession, I'd love to chop it up again just to see how everything's moving and kind of do like a little catch-up episode and just any other gems you learned along the way, be able to share those and just continue to grow with us, my man.
Of course, man. I love to come back, man. Just let me know, bro. You know you like family, man. It's all good. It's all good. I'm down whenever.
Hey, that's a bet. That's a bet. Well, I'm gonna let you go, man. I'll holler at you.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too, bro.
We had to give him an outro. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Ain't nothing gonna stop us now. We here. And we back. They say, Peanut, you so cold.